Welcome to your productivity deep dive. Today, we're kind of challenging this whole hustle harder thing, and we're going to explore how feeling good can actually unlock some serious productivity power.
Yeah.
We're diving into this fascinating book by a doctor who discovered that
Yeah.
well-being,
Yeah.
it's not just a reward for getting things done,
Hmm.
it's actually the key to getting them done well.
It's a real perspective shift, isn't it? The author's journey from
Yeah.
burned out doctor to this productivity expert
Right.
is a testament to the power of prioritizing well-being.
Okay, so let's get into it. The book starts with this pretty relatable story about a chaotic Christmas Day
Yeah.
hospital shift, right? It seems like this experience was kind of a turning point for the author, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. That story really sets the stage for the entire book. It highlights the flaws and the push-through-it mentality that so many of us kind of fall into.
Yeah.
The author realized firsthand that constantly operating at the edge of burnout was not only unsustainable,
Yeah.
but also counterproductive.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's like trying to run a marathon on an empty stomach. You might get
Right.
started, but you're not going to finish strong.
Exactly.
So how did this experience lead them to feel good productivity?
It prompted a deep dive into the
Yeah.
science of productivity and well-being. The author drew on their background in psychology to understand how our brains and bodies respond to stress, positive emotions, and everything in between.
Right.
What they discovered is that feeling good isn't just a nice bonus.
Okay.
It's a fundamental driver of our ability to focus, think creatively,
Yeah.
and get things done effectively.
Interesting. So it's not about forcing ourselves to be happy all the time.
Right.
It's about understanding this powerful link between our emotions and our productivity.
Exactly. And to illustrate this, the author uses this classic psychological experiment
Okay.
called the candle problem.
Okay. I'm intrigued. Tell me more about this candle problem.
Imagine this. You have a candle, a box of thumbtacks, and a book of matches.
Okay.
Your challenge is to figure out how to attach the candle to a wall so that the wax doesn't drip on the table below.
Sounds tricky.
It is.
I can already feel my brain working overtime.
The catch is that most people approach the problem with a very limited perspective.
Right.
They get stuck focusing on the most obvious uses for the objects, like trying to tack the candle directly to the wall.
I can see myself doing that. So where does the feel-good part come in?
Here's where it gets really fascinating.
Right.
Researchers found that people who were put in a positive mood before tackling this problem were significantly more likely to find the solution.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Just from being in a good mood? How is that even possible?
It's all about how our brains work.
Okay.
A psychologist named Alice Eisen conducted this experiment back in the 70s and found that those who were given a small treat, a bag of candy, actually, before the task, demonstrated more creative and flexible thinking. They were able to see beyond the obvious and come up with more innovative solutions.
So little mood boosts can actually make us more creative. That's pretty amazing.
Right.
I knew those chocolate breaks weren't just procrastination.
Right.
But what's the science behind this?
Right.
What's happening in our brains when we feel good that unlocks this extra creativity?
This is where Barbara Fredrickson's broaden and build theory comes in.
Okay.
Fredrickson is a pioneer in the field of positive psychology, and her research suggests that positive emotions literally broaden our scope of thinking.
Okay.
We become more open to new ideas, more adaptable, and better problem solvers.
That makes sense. I know when I'm stressed or feeling down, it's like I get stuck in a rut.
Right.
But when I'm feeling energized and happy, new ideas just seem to flow effortlessly.
Right.
It's like my brain just opens up.
Precisely. And here's where the build part of Fredrickson's theory comes in.
Okay.
Those positive emotions don't just have a temporary effect. They actually build lasting resources within us.
Okay.
Like resilience, creativity,
Yeah.
and emotional regulation. It's like making deposits into a mental bank account
Yeah.
that we can draw on when we need it most.
I love that analogy. So it's not just about getting a quick burst of energy
Right.
to power through a task.
Right.
It's about cultivating a sustainable foundation for doing great work long term.
Exactly.
Which makes me wonder, what's the role of our biology in all of this?
Mm-hmm.
We've all heard about feel-good hormones, but what are they actually doing in our brains?
You're right. Those feel-good hormones are a key piece of the puzzle. We're talking about endorphins, serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin, these chemical messengers. they create those feelings of happiness and focus
Right.
and motivation that fuel productivity.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But how do they actually work? It still seems a little like magic to me.
It's like a beautifully orchestrated symphony of brain activity.
Yeah.
Take endorphins, for example.
Okay.
They're often released during exercise.
And they not only help to mask pain, but also create these feelings of euphoria
Right.
and boost our energy levels.
So that's why I always feel so amazing after a good workout.
Right.
What about the other hormones?
Well, dopamine is often called the reward chemical.
Okay.
When we accomplish something, dopamine gives us that feeling of satisfaction that makes us want to keep going.
Right.
Then there's oxytocin, often referred to as the connection hormone.
Yeah.
It promotes feelings of trust and generosity,
Okay.
making us more collaborative and better able to build strong relationships.
So it's not just about like individual effort.
Right.
Feeling good actually helps us work better together. That's fascinating.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And these positive social connections further contribute to a more enjoyable and productive work environment.
Right.
It's a win-win situation.
This is all reminding me of that saying, choose joy and the productivity will follow.
It seems like there's a lot of truth to that. But what about stress? We can't talk about productivity without talking about stress.
Absolutely not. And this is where another fascinating concept comes in, the undoing hypothesis.
Okay.
It suggests that just as negative emotions trigger stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol,
Right.
positive emotions can actually counteract those negative effects.
Wait, so feeling good can actually help to undo some of the damage that stress causes in our bodies. Tell me more.
It's pretty incredible. Barbara Fredrickson, who we mentioned earlier, found that even watching a short uplifting video helped people recover from stress more quickly.
Wow.
It's like hitting the reset button on your nervous system.
Wow. So we're not just talking about getting more things done here.
Right.
We're talking about protecting our long-term health and well-being.
Exactly.
This is all making me rethink my whole approach to productivity. I've always believed that success is the key to happiness, but this book suggests it might be the other way around.
That's exactly what the research is showing. The author cites this groundbreaking study from 2005 that analyzed hundreds of research papers on happiness and success. The findings were pretty remarkable. People who experience more positive emotions tend to be more successful in many areas of their lives.
You're saying happiness equals success. That's mind-blowing. So we're talking about better relationships, improved job performance, maybe even higher salaries.
You got it. It seems that feeling good sets off this positive chain reaction.
Okay.
It leads to actions and behaviors that contribute to greater success, which in turn makes us feel even better. It's this wonderful upward spiral.
This is all starting to sound incredibly appealing, but I have to ask, how do we actually put this feel-good productivity into practice? Is there a secret formula?
Well, the book outlines a comprehensive method with 3 key elements. Identifying your energizers, overcoming your blockers, and cultivating your sustainers.
Energizers, blockers, sustainers. Okay, you've definitely piqued my curiosity. Break it down for me. What are these exactly?
It all starts with understanding what truly energizes you, what brings you joy, makes you feel empowered, and what kind of social interactions nourish you. These are your energizers, the things that fuel your productivity.
So it's about figuring out what works for you, not just following some generic productivity hack.
Exactly. We're all wired differently.
Right.
So what energizes one person might completely drain another. The key is to pay close attention to how you feel throughout your day and identify those activities or situations that consistently boost your mood and motivation.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So we've got our energizers figured out, but what about those blockers you mentioned? We all have those days where procrastination seems to take over.
Absolutely. No one is immune to the occasional procrastination session.
Right.
The book delves into the psychology behind it,
Right.
exploring the common culprits that hold us back: fear of failure, uncertainty, even plain old inertia.
Right.
But more importantly, it provides strategies for overcoming those blocks in a way that reduces stress and improves your mood rather than adding to it.
So it's not about beating ourselves up for procrastinating. It's about understanding the root cause and finding healthier ways to get back on track.
Exactly. It's about approaching those challenges with self-compassion and a focus on finding solutions that work for you.
This is all so insightful. Okay, so we've tackled energizers and blockers.
Right.
Now, what about those sustainers? That word makes me think of long-term success, which is really what we're all after, right?
You're spot on. Sustainability is the key to long-term success.
Right.
And that's precisely where the sustainers come in.
So tell me more, what exactly are sustainers?
The book outlines 3 main types of sustainers, ways to conserve your energy,
Okay.
recharge your batteries,
Mm-hmm.
and ensure your work aligns with your values and goals.
Okay.
These are the pillars of avoiding burnout and creating a fulfilling and productive life that stands the test of time.
It sounds like we're talking about creating a more sustainable lifestyle overall, not just checking more things off our to-do list.
That's a great way to put it. It's about recognizing that we're not machines
Right.
designed for constant output. We need time to rest,
Right.
recharge, and reconnect with what truly matters to us.
This is all resonating so much with me. It's like we've been sold this idea that productivity is about pushing ourselves to the limit.
Yeah,
But this book offers a much more balanced and sustainable approach.
it really does. It's about working smarter, not harder,
Right.
and recognizing that our well-being is an asset, not a liability.
I couldn't agree more. This whole conversation has been a real eye-opener. Instead of chasing some mythical state of endless productivity,
Right.
maybe the real key is to cultivate more joy in our lives and work.
Absolutely. When we feel good, we're more creative,
Right.
resilient, and engaged in our work,
Yeah.
which naturally leads to greater productivity and fulfillment.
It's like that saying, choose joy and the productivity will follow.
Exactly. It's not about becoming some productivity robot. It's
No.
about bringing our whole selves to our work
Yeah.
and finding joy in the process.
Well said. This deep dive has given us so much to think about. Thank you for taking us through these fascinating concepts
Oh, it's been my pleasure.
and for reminding us that feeling good isn't just about enjoying life more. It's about unlocking our full potential.
Remember, you are not a machine. Pay attention to what makes you feel good
Right.
and weave those activities into your day.
And on that note, we'll leave you to ponder this question. What one small thing can you do today to inject more joy into your work? Until next time, happy and productive.
Exploring.